Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about a lot of numbers. We're going to be talking about makeup inventory. So I typically do these videos like I turn the camera around and show you all the products. Just with the move and everything that's coming up, I couldn't work that out to do that. It's just a lot of taking things out and we're starting to pack. And so I thought it would just be easier to share numbers. I might end up posting the pictures of my actual inventory after the move on my Instagram. I'm not positive yet, but that's just an idea I had. So let's get into the numbers. I actually have my current stats and then 6 months ago January stats and then actually last year July stats. So we can kind of compare a year ago, 6 months, and today, and then talk about where I want to be going forward. So let's chat. Okay, so my categories are in the order that I do my makeup, so if they're completely random, this is why. Also, some of my categories are extremely bizarre. You might call it one thing and I might call it a different thing. So if you're like, why do you have it grouped like that? Just how my mind works. So the first category I have is brow products. And so technically, this is all my brow products except for brow gels, because brow gels have their own category. Why they have their own category? I think it was because at the beginning I had so many brow products and I just didn't want to include those in the same thing. If I ran out of brow gels, I wanted to be able to repurchase those, whereas I knew I didn't need to repurchase any brow products like fill-in, pencil, pomade, powder, that type of stuff. So currently I have 4 products in my brows collection. So that's 2 pencils, a powder, and a pomade. I do believe I will be decluttering one of these items very soon, so that could go down to 3 potentially. I haven't actually done it yet though. 6 months ago, I had 6 brow products, and then a year ago I had 8. So I'm at a steady decline here. Ideally, I would only have 2 products in this category, like a pencil and something else, or 2 pencils, or 2 other things. I don't need a ton in this category. Eventually, too, I might roll in the brow gels together because I don't foresee me purchasing a bunch of brow products going forward. So speaking of the brow gels, a year ago I had 2, in January I had 2, now I have 1, and I'm perfectly content with staying at 1. I know in some of my past videos of these I said that I would like to have 2 brow gels. I'm not as caught up on that anymore. I'm fine with 1. It's been working with 1, and so I don't feel the need to have 2. If I happened to have 2, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but I don't think I necessarily need to be using 2 at the same time, or be purchase 2 to use interchangeably. I feel like 1's okay so far. My next category is eye primer. A year ago I had 3, in January I had 2, and I still have 2, and ideally I would only have, I had 1 previously, but I actually ended up changing that to 2 because I realized I added in my NYX Glitter Primer. So that's kind of different than a regular eye primer because it's glue, where it helps the glitter stick to your eyes, versus a regular eye primer just extends and helps eyeshadows. It doesn't necessarily do as much for glitter. So I'd be okay with having both of those. Of course, if I got rid of all of my glitters, I wouldn't need the glitter primer. So it's just more of a heavy duty type of primer, and I don't mind having both of them. Next category is eyeshadow palettes. A year ago I had 8 eyeshadow palettes, which to be honest doesn't even seem like a lot. And then in January I had 6, and now I have 5. So the only reason I have 1 less than I did in January is because I did declutter my Wet n Wild palette, just because I hit pan on a few shades in the palette and then I didn't really feel comfortable using it anymore. So I just have it in a bin ready to give away. Honestly, 5 eyeshadow palettes is not that many, and I'm perfectly content with 5. At the same time though, I really don't want to add any eyeshadow palettes in my collection because I do have a lot of single shadows, which we will talk about right now. So a year ago for single shadows I had 69. in January, I had 73. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how I went up because I'm fairly positive I did not purchase any between those time periods. So I don't know if I just miscounted or what happened. But I'm actually now back down, and so I only have 67 currently. 67 is a really big number though. This counts my single shadows in like Z palettes, and then also single shadows like if I had a single compact of Urban Decay shadow, or like I have, what else is on there? I have a single of Urban Decay Space Cowboy, and then 2 others. I have the Desi and Katie Dose palette with like the 4 little ones. I don't really consider that an eyeshadow palette because it only has, it's a quad. So I just count it with my singles as 4. I could probably just count it as 1. I go back and forth with that. I don't really know. And then of course, like I have a bunch of like a melt stack. I count those as singles because I don't know, I don't count them as a palette. So honestly, this number is kind of give or take, but I honestly wish that I had less. So my goal for this for right now is 50. 50 is still a lot though, and I want less than that. But I think, I mean, I can't just be like, oh, 25 is a good number, because I mean, I have 67. Like, to get from 67 to 25 is ridiculous. 67 to 50 is still a really big jump, and so I just really need to go through my single shadows, and I hope with this move coming up, maybe it'll help me with that. But I'm trying to focus on my Pan That palettes, which are palettes, and I'm really not focusing on singles right now. So singles have been really hard for me, and I love single shadows, but obviously not as much because I'm not using them as much. So yeah, that one's really tough for me. So my next category is kind of a weird one. I have it called eye toppers, and really what that means is like not everyday single shadows. They're like a little something extra. So I have like my Urban Decay glitter liner, the Stila glitters. I have a Dose Ideal Duo in there. So those types of things that aren't like everyday necessarily single shadows, they're kind of something extra, like a pop on the lid. Like a topper kind of. So a year ago I had 14. In January I had 7, which I mean that's half, and then I still have 7 right now. I did adjust my goal on this to 4, or maybe my goal was 4. I'm not exactly positive, but I know that I did some adjustments on the spreadsheet to lower some of my goals just because I don't need as many things anymore. So ideally my goal would be 4. A lot of my Stila glitters are drying out. I've had to like try and revive them multiple times. So I know they're on the way out. They probably won't make it to the end of the year, honestly, which is sad. I do really like them, but I mean, mostly I only wear makeup to work, and I'm not gonna be wearing glitter eyeshadow to work. So I don't know if I'll ever purchase them, but that I'm assuming this category will be going down before my next update, just because those glitters are on their last leg. Even like my heavy metal glitter from Urban Decay is going bad, so it might be 0 by the next update. I don't think so. I still have a couple of good things in this category, but honestly it's starting to dwindle. Liquid liner. This is so ridiculous. A year ago I had 6 liquid liners. Honestly, how did I even get 6? I have no idea. In January I had 2, and then right now I only have 1, and I haven't opened it yet, just because I have been trying to use eyeshadow as like my liner just to get some more use out of my eyeshadows. Eventually, when I'm over that, probably in the winter, I don't really know, I'll open up my liquid liner and use it up. It's just a mini. I don't think I need more than 1 on hand though. I mean, clearly right now I don't need any on hand because I'm not using it, but I think 1 is perfectly okay. Mascara. I have not bought mascara in over a year. Well, I bought 1 mascara, but that, I mean, I really have not bought mascara. So a year ago I had 5. In January I still had 5. I think I had gotten some with like gifts with purchase or in like Sephora Plays or something like that. Currently I have 2, and I don't want to go above 2. Of course, if I get some in like a play box or gifts with purchase, I'm going to keep them if I am interested in trying them. If I know it's a mascara I hate, I'll toss it like in my like declutter, like giveaway somebody take this file. But I'm not gonna necessarily like toss out mascaras I want to try if I go over 2, you know. But yeah, I don't have more than one open typically. I did a little while have like a black and a brown open at the same time because I was using them kind of interchangeably. So right now I just have black. I mean, this mascara isn't really that great. Like, it's not even that black, but it's whatever. Like, I don't really care about mascara that much. So the next 2 categories honestly haven't moved whatsoever because it's relating to lashes. If you've watched any of these videos, or maybe just some videos in general, I used to wear lashes every single day, and I haven't hardly worn them in probably at least 6 months, I don't think, but maybe a year-ish. I like really dropped off the lash bandwagon. So I've always had 2 lash glues. They're honestly really going bad and I need to repurchase some. And I don't know, 1 or 2 is fine with me. Sometimes, like when I used to wear lashes every day, I would have one at home and have one in my purse. But honestly, like if I ever intend on wearing lashes, I probably need to repurchase them. But at the current time, I'm not going to, just because I haven't been wearing lashes. And then a year ago, for actual like lash packages, I had 17. 6 months I had 13. I still have 13. Like I said, I haven't worn them in the past 6 months. I did include them in my rotating like shop my stash. So I'm picking a few categories every month, and I did include lashes in one of the sections. So in a few months I will be including them in my shop my stash so I get some use out of them. But other than that, I really can't be bothered. Like I said, I only wear makeup to work, and it's really hard to wear big, like, fluttery lashes at work. You know, it's just not appropriate at work necessarily. And also, I have no time in the morning. Like, I'm already this close to being, like, not on time, so I don't have time for lashes. Next category is primers. A year ago, I had 12 primers. In January, I cut that in half and I only had 6. And then currently I only have 4, and 1 is actually new. So at one time I only had 2 primers over the past 6 months. I'm pretty positive, but yeah, I'm currently at 4. I think I would like to be around 3. Honestly, 2 even would be fine. But I do wear primer every day, and I do mix a lot of primers. Like in my current everyday routine, I use 3 primers. But do I need to have that many? Not really. So I think 3 is where I kind of want to stick around after I do finish a couple up. The next category, some of these categories just look, I haven't looked at these numbers in so long and they're just crazy to me. So the next category is foundation, and a year ago I had 16 foundations. In January, I had 7, and I currently still have 7. I actually did add one. It's a mini from a Sephora Playbox. So I did finish a few up. I think I decluttered some old ones, but I think a lot of them I did actually use up. Ideally, right now I have it set as 6. My like goal number. Ideally, I would be lower, like 3, but I don't think that's gonna happen for a while, so I want to be realistic for right now and just say 6 is like my cap that I don't want to go above. So next I have Tinted Moisturizer. A year ago I did not have any tinted moisturizers. I think if I did, I included them with my foundations category because I'm slowly getting like lighter coverage like base makeup, so I'm sure a year ago it didn't even occur to me to like have a category for that. In January I had 2. I have the same 2 now. I really enjoyed them. I don't think I would need to have above 2. I think what will maybe happen in the future though is I might up my tinted moisturizer category and then lower my foundation category if I start like wearing those on an everyday basis, and then saving like foundations for, you know, nicer occasions, or if I have more time and want to do my makeup that way. We'll see though, I guess. Okay, some of these are so wild. So concealer, a year ago I had 6. In January I had 4, and now I only have 2. So that's a pretty steady like 2 every 6 months drop there, which makes me feel really good. Currently I have 2 concealers I really like, the Wet n Wild and the Milani. probably won't be repurchasing the Wet n Wild, which is honestly one of my favorites. I might go back to maybe like ColourPop or something, but I don't feel the need to have more than 2 concealers. If you have a like summer shade and a winter shade and you can mix them, that's great. I don't honestly need more than that. The next category is another funny one. So it's my liquid or cream face products. So what this means is like cream highlighter, liquid highlighter, cream blush, liquid blush, bronzer, etc. So some people do group these in with their actual bronzers, but typically if I use a cream product, I'll still end up using a powder, so I don't want to categorize them in the same section. It's just what I like to do. So a year ago I had 10 liquid face products. This is literally what I have the category named. January I had 8. All these numbers are starting to blend together. Currently I have 5, and my max goal currently right now is 5. I only have blushes and highlighters, and I would love to have a bronzer in there. So maybe, I think I'm gonna be decluttering a blush soon in my, it's actually in my project pan. It's getting really nasty and disgusting and old. And so maybe if I do declutter that, I'll end up getting a bronzer, but currently it's at 5, and I do not want to let it get it above 5, of course, unless I get like samples in play boxes and stuff like that, and that happens, that's fine, but I don't want to intentionally try to be bringing it above the number 5. So that's where I'm at with those. Translucent powder, a year ago I had 7, January I had 6, and now I had 5. Hopefully that means by the end of the year I will only have 4. My goal is really, on my notes it's 3. Honestly, it's probably like 1 in reality, like if we're talking about the grand scheme of things. But again, from going from 5 to 1 is like a really big jump right now, and I have a few powders that are fairly full, so I'm just setting it at 3 right now as the cap, and we'll see where we go from there. Pressed powder a year ago was at 7, January was at 6, and now it's at 4, so that's actually pretty good. I did finish up kind of 2 powders at the same time. One was for my face and one I actually used to set my eyes. So yeah, I think that's really good. I'm working on one right now. It's the biggest one I have. All the other ones are fairly smaller and would be easier to go through. So why I'm not working on them, I really don't know. The one powder I guess I am using right now is matte, so that's probably why I'm working on it, and the other ones are shimmery. Ideally, I would have 3 or under. I don't even know if I really need 3, even like 2 or 3. I think my thought process is if I keep my 1 to set my eyeshadow base, and then I have a like semi-matte one, and then like a semi-sheer / dewy-ish one, that would be like the perfect mix. So I think that's why I chose 3. These next categories are some that have honestly changed the most. So in July of last year for bronzer, I had 12. In January of this year, I had 7, and I still currently have 7. So this has changed a little bit because I have my goal actually set at 7, whereas when I used to have 12, I was probably like, there's no way I'm going under 12. Like, I love bronzer, you know what I mean? So I still really do love bronzer, but it takes so long for me to go through bronzers. I've never finished one up, but it is my goal this year to finish one up, that I know 7's even a high number. Ideally, I'll go below that in the future, but I want to be realistic. So right now, my goal is 7. So for blush, a year ago, I had 18 blushes. That's so high. That's such a high number. In 6 months ago in January, I had 14. Currently, I have 12. My goal for this year is not to be above 11. So currently, I am obviously over that. I am trying to finish up one in my project pan. I'm getting extremely close on Tarte Party. I can feel it coming. So I'm also going to try and shop my stash for blushes fairly soon so that I can see if I have any that maybe have gone bad. I don't like the formula on, I'm just keeping it for like sentimental reasons, even though maybe I don't like it. So I'm excited for that. Maybe that number will get down a little farther by the end of the year. Fingers crossed. My highlights, this is another one that's honestly shocking. A year ago, I had 20 highlights. 20 pans of highlight. Not including liquid highlighters. Like, that's insane. January, I had 11, and then currently I have 9. And honestly, one of these I am going to be decluttering soon. It was in my Shop My Stash. I'm realizing that honestly, I don't love it as much as I thought I did. I got it because somebody had hyped it up, and I was hyping it up myself, even though it was sitting in my drawer. And now that I've been using it in my Shop My Stash, I've realized that I don't actually like it. Especially, I just finished my Becca Opal highlight, first highlight I ever finished, and I loved it. And going to this other one, I was shocked. I was like, why am I keeping this? I clearly do not like it. So that will be getting decluttered, but I'm waiting for the month to be over and to fill my next Shop My Stash to update it. But yeah, this number will be going down again. I didn't say, I don't think, my highlight max number is 8, and when I do declutter that one, I will be at 8. So that'll be an even across the board there. My setting sprays, honestly, some of these numbers are shocking to me. I totally forgot about this. So a year ago, July, I had 9 setting sprays. 9. That's a ton of setting spray. I only have one face. That's crazy. A year or 6 months ago in January, I had 4. I still currently have 4, but I am really close to finishing up 2. I believe I have the same 4 back in January. So I've been working diligently on trying to get through those. I think both of them were fairly new in January. So, I mean, it takes pretty long to use up a setting spray. Like, you don't just spray them 2 times and they're done, you know. So ideally, I have 4 as my max for this category. I could probably go down to like 2 or 3. Some of the sprays I obviously use for different reasons, but I mean, I could still cut that back a little bit. For lip liner, a year ago I had 13. In January I had 11. Currently I have 9. I did finish a couple up in my project pan. I'm hoping maybe the next 6 months I can still finish up a couple in my project pan. I have 9 as my max, which I currently have, but I don't foresee me purchasing any lip liner in the upcoming future. So hopefully that will continue to lower, but it's set that way for now. My lipsticks, in July of 2018, I had 18. Love that. I had 18 lipsticks. In January, I had 11. And currently I only have 9, so I feel like that's pretty good. I do have 10 as my max, which might seem like a lot of these products I'm over on, like I'm either at my max or over my max. This is the one category that I'm actually under on, and so I really do enjoy lipstick. I think I'm like starting to actually figure out what formulas I like and what I go for, and not just like, oh, that's a pretty color. I'm actually like getting more in tune with like what feels good on my lips, what I like wearing, what I can wear every day, versus like this lipstick that I put on for this video because I know I can take it off in half an hour. So that one I'm totally okay with going up in, not over 10 though. My max is 10, I'd like to stay at 10, but I feel pretty good about that category. Okay, lip gloss. A year ago I had 8. In January I only had 6. I am back up to 8 because I did purchase 2 glosses. I am almost done with one in my project pan though, so that does make me feel good. I feel okay about that. I would like to be at 6 still, because I mean, I do like gloss, but I don't wear gloss necessarily every day. But I don't know. I feel like lipstick and lip gloss I'm okay with having higher numbers of, but I would still like to be closer to 6 rather than to 8. And then probably my biggest shift in numbers is for liquid lipsticks. So a year ago I had 25, and in January I had 9, and currently I have 8. So liquid lipsticks is ones that I like. I used to be so obsessed with liquid lipsticks. I mean, I think everybody was because it was such a huge trend. But they make your lips feel awful. So I think literally I'm holding on to every single one that's just like has so much sentimental value that I'm like, why I can't declutter you even though I literally never wear you. So yeah, I don't really have much else to say about that category because it's It's the truth. So my max is 8 for liquid lipsticks because I have 8 and I don't want to add any. But I know that I'm probably not going to be panning any liquid lipsticks because they're honestly almost impossible to go through. So either I'll get the guts to actually declutter them or find ways to wear them or just hang on to them until they go bad because I honestly don't know what else to do. So let's talk about totals because this is where the biggest change is. I mean, once you see like the overall numbers, of course, this is like the real deal. So a year ago, this was my first inventory. 1 year ago was in July of 2018. I had 332 makeup products. That was like the first time I ever like got items together and really counted up what did I have. So 332. That seems crazy at the current time. In January, I lowered that by almost 100 products. I only had 235 products in January. So currently I actually have 200. And my goal for this year was to be under or like at even 200. So I'm super excited about that. And I know I do have a couple of those items that are going to be decluttered soon. And I also do know though, I do have a lipstick coming in my Sephora Play box. I think it's going to arrive tomorrow. So that will put me at the 10 lipsticks and move this up to 201 until I do declutter some of those items. But I feel really good actually. I've been really working hard at not bringing new makeup into my collection. And seeing, I mean, I didn't think I was doing that good, but seeing a year ago's numbers honestly made me actually feel really good. So if I would have just sat down and told you what I currently have and not told you last year's, I probably wouldn't have been as happy with the results. But seeing last year's is honestly very, very shocking and makes me actually feel like I'm doing pretty good with my collection. So of course, in the future, I would like to have less than 200, but we're moving at a snail's pace. You can't just finish up makeup in a day, and I'm enjoying what I have. So maybe in the next 6 months, I'll have a better number to share with you, but for now, I'm feeling really great about my collection. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope this inspires you to take inventory of what you have in your collection. If you haven't already, if you have as well, let me know. I love watching makeup inventory videos because I don't know why, I just love comparing like what the categories are, what the average like number of how many bronzers does everybody have, you know, like I'm such a numbers person and I love knowing how much people have in categories. I'm so weird. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed and hope you were inspired. But that's all for today. I hope you have a great rest of your night and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.